Hello, my dear Leo. First of all, happy birthday. We're entering your season, so happy birthday to all Leos out there. I have a few Leos that I really, really love, so I just want to send you that love right now. Right, so let's get on with your reading. I pre-shuffled the cards already. This is a general reading for Sun, Moon, and Rising signs in Leo. Justice is your first card, which is your current energy. All right, Leo, what's this about? What is the challenge here? What is this about? This is about communication. Again, I have the feeling that in the last few readings for Leo, there was a big thing with communication. Keeps coming up, guys. We've been trying for a while now to work with that communication. All right, this is your advice, the Three of Cups. Beautiful. Okay. And this is where you're moving into. Okay, Queen of Swords as your underlying energy. That's your theme. And now let's pull out the clarifiers for these cards to understand what this is all about. That Nine of Swords there. It's interesting though. Very interesting energy. Okay. So you have the Queen of Pentacles with Justice. Alright, what's in the challenge position? Why is the Knight of Swords here? Of course, it makes sense. It hurts. What's for the Three of Cups as your advice? Some advice for Leo, please. Advice for Leo for August 2000. There we go. Of course. And clarify the Nine of Swords. Why is the Nine of Swords as the possible outcome? Future energy. Why is the Nine of Swords here? Okay. Takes as long as it takes. Of course it does. Of course it does. It makes sense. How it's glued together, it's amazing. I personally am still amazed of how amazing tarot is. And every time it gets like a lot of clarity and a lot of like, it makes so much sense. Sometimes they just like, you just feel it through and then you can't really make it up. It's amazing. Sorry about that. It was just a confession. Okay, so the Queen of Swords comes with the Nine of Cups. This is your underlying energy. This is your theme. And the Queen of Swords is... she's the greatest. She's a good communicator. She knows to communicate exactly everything that she needs to communicate. She's great at putting boundaries, and she's great at cutting the bullshit within herself, so she has a very clear mind, and also with other people. She can be a little bit disarming and a little bit cold, caring more about communicating her truth and maybe being a little like preemptive strikes sort of type. But she's very, very clear. She knows how to communicate her boundaries. And in this case, it has to do with your emotional happiness, with how to be, what makes you happy. What are your wishes? What do you wish from a situation? What do you wish from a partnership, from a relationship, from something? We can, like, sometimes we're not honest neither with ourselves and nor with the others. When I enter a relationship, for example, and if the person that I want to be in a relationship with says that they do things in certain ways, say they prefer open relationship, for example, and if I say, oh, I know that I don't really want, or part of me knows that I don't really want that, but if I go for it anyway just because I really like the person and I don't want to miss it and I don't want to blah blah and I don't want to look like I'm closed-minded and whatever, and I don't communicate these boundaries out of fear that we're going to be rejected. That's pretty much what's happening, But she's not afraid of being rejected because it's very clear to her of her own value, and she knows that there's no such thing as rejection. We're never really being rejected. It's when we reject parts of ourselves that we are being rejected. The other people cannot reject us because it's not up to them. It's just like things meet or happen or whatever, but it has nothing to do with me personally and who I am and how my value was never on the table. And she knows this. Therefore, she's very able to communicate everything that she needs and everything that she needs not to happen about her emotional expectations as well. And she's like, okay, maybe I'm not able to do this. That means that either she lets go of the person, cuts it off, whatever, either the person finds a way of, negotiating these boundaries. But it's important to or communicate, just talk about it. Sometimes we can be absurd, sometimes we can be a little bit too cold and too protective of the self. This is like some of the dark side of the Queen of Swords. She can literally become very cold and distant, and if it doesn't have the promise of this immediately, then she's like, okay, go away. But at least she opens the conversation, and the other person, whoever that person was, the receiver of this whole communication that seems to happen or need to happen, will get it one way or another. Okay, but she's definitely not going to accept half truths and situations that are not satisfying or fucking in some way with her self-esteem. Nobody fucks with her self-esteem. That's the Queen of Swords energy, and I think that this is what you are trying to achieve right now, to be in this energy. You're working with this, communicating about your emotions and about what your wishes, and negotiating those boundaries, how to put them. Okay, so your current energy is the Justice with the Queen of Pentacles. So you're grounded. That's good. And you're in that place where you have enough mental clarity. Again, there is mental clarity here. That's good. So you have the mental clarity. I'm just seeing the swords and I'm thinking this, like, to have justice, you need to have mental clarity. Otherwise, justice can be quite personal and the views on justice can be very different from person to person, right? But being grounded, we are more able to understand justice at a bigger scale, not just like from my personal world or my reflection of reality, but more of a whole, something that makes sense, something that we kind of all understand at a soul level, at a karmic level, what justice is about, what's just. And it's usually not about judging and punishment. It's more about allowing ourselves to sort of show up for our part of the deal in the karmic contract in whatever way. Being fair. You're able to be fair because you're grounded. You're able to see the big picture and call out on bullshit when the bullshit happens, but also within yourself. But it's not about calling out on somebody else's bullshit. That's not the point. With the Queen of Pentacles here, it means that you're nurturing of this. You're doing this with gentleness and with care, because you know that what you're dealing with is not with the other person's unwillingness to listen to you, or your unwillingness to communicate. It's just the fear, right? So it's not about calling someone on their bullshit. It's more about helping to guide them to understand, like, when we get caught in a trance of fear, we can get caught in the trance of craving, or like when those ones where we don't think straight anymore, when we're like we're really going away, we start coming out from our defense mechanism, not from the place of clarity, when we just go cuckoo la la and that's it, go in la la land, and we talk about, and that's you can recognize those patterns, because they're so out of character. You can see that very easy with people that have been suffering of addiction, for example. They can be incredibly grounded, they can be amazingly communicators, and everything is fantastic, and so much self-awareness, and yet somebody passes with a joint in their hands, and I don't know, not necessarily a joint, can be anything, what the trigger is, and suddenly you feel like you're talking with somebody else, because the mind is just trying to get what it wants, but in this case, whenever we see the things that we need to see, and we need to communicate the parts, so that how to mm, what makes me happy, being able to put this in a dynamics in a relationship. It doesn't need to be a romantic relationship. It can be with your siblings, it can be with your mother, it can be with your parents, or relatives, or somebody you really care about, or even at work. Putting those boundaries, it's about something to do with what makes you happy, being able to say what your needs are, and knowing them for yourself, understanding your needs, right? It needs to be grounded, it needs to be nurturing, it needs to be somebody who is like really, really gentle. And I know that when I want to communicate my needs from a place of awareness, I know also that my needs somehow can hurt somebody else. If I need solitude, and the person is very needy for company, of course I'm gonna hurt them if I communicate my needs. But it's okay, they need that as well, in order to cope with their side of this story. There's always this sort of dynamics only happens as a it's always you need two to tango. It's never going to happen that only just one carries this energy, whatever energy that is. So if I'm not able to communicate my needs because I'm afraid that I'm going to hurt the other person, I am maintaining a relationship of codependency, because I don't hurt them. I don't know, because I love them, or because I don't want to be the bad guy, or things like this. But sometimes they can benefit a little bit from somebody pointing out, well, I just need a little bit of space, let's talk about this, let's communicate. We can't have it only one way or another. We are showing up fully as who we are, and we are looking to see from you also who you are, not just how you show up from that place of fear or dependency, right? I don't know why it went so specific. Usually my messages are really not that specific. So Leo, obviously there's this is going to resonate with just some of you. Take it as such. It's not it's obviously this message is not for everybody. Usually I keep them a little bit more about the just inner dynamics, is that, but this time it feels like it's so specific. So yeah, I'm just gonna go with that. Knight of Swords and the Four of Cups are your challenge, and obviously, yeah, it's fine. It's challenging for you to communicate why you are unhappy as well. What is it that you really need? We know, like, it's hard to communicate my wishes. Oh, I wish you more like this. I wish I spent more time like that. I wish I would spend my time or my energy into something else, that what we maybe dreamed before or understood from each other. But also what doesn't feel good, what makes me feel sad, and um you know uh, that's also very hard to communicate, and that seems to be the biggest challenge for you right now. What are your needs regarding this pain you're feeling? What are your needs regarding this part of you that maybe it's a little bit depressed? No, a lot of people go through depression. It can be serious clinical depression, or it can be like more mild, but we understand depression. And it's very, very hard for somebody who's depressed and is in a relationship of some sort to communicate with the other person about the depression, because the other person, whoever that is, friends, lovers, parents, are going to take it somehow upon themselves that they need to solve this person's problem. And they don't. They can't. It's not up to them. What's happening is inside. What the person needs nurturing, care, and support. And in this case, I feel like you are that person. You need a little bit more, you know, something in these cups in order to be able to grow out of that depressive episode by yourself. You need help and support, but you don't need them to solve your problems. And that's hard to communicate. That's really hard to communicate. Or maybe it's the other way around. I feel sad and I want somebody to save me, so I will communicate it only in the idea that you can do something about it, with expectation. That can also be. There are many ways to make communication difficult. Trust us. Let's trust humanity in that. um, so Leo, you can also have quite a brusque communication at times. Not all of you, but many of you. um, I've experienced this recently. I actually can really relate to this energy. It's like when you're feeling sad, when you're feeling like really, uh, you can't justify your sadness anymore. That's what depression is all about. We're just feeling a general sadness and nothing gets us out of there. And people start blaming you. Well, why don't you come out more? Why don't you do more of this? Why don't you spend more time with your friends? Things like this. Get out of the house. Blah blah blah. All the advices that people give to depressed people because they love them, you know. And that can communicating what we actually need can come out as very aggressive. The Knight of Swords is a little bit cold type of communication, a little bit abrupt, a little bit brusque, a little bit aggressive even. Look at this guy, he's going there for battle. He doesn't give a shit about people's emotions. He's like, what, you're in this place? I don't know. uh, but we can come out like this because when putting those boundaries, we might be a little bit too aggressive because it hurts. I get it. It hurts as like shit. It hurts really, really bad. But and it's fine. I mean, like, it is part of the challenge, but it's better to communicate rather than not. It's still an encouragement for communication, and I think that, yeah, it's challenging because you can come out as aggressive and you don't want to play that role. You don't want to push them away. You just want to have them understand how you feel. That's it. And what you need. Communication of what makes you happy and what helps you go through this situation by yourself. There you go. Is the advice. You have the 3 of Cups with the 4 of Wands. This is an incredibly supportive energy. Make use of your friends. Make use of your soul family right now. The people that can actually be there for you and help you out and listen to you and respect your needs, whatever those are. If your need is to talk, they can help you with that because they are close to you and they love you. But if you need to just spend some time alone, they can respect that as well. They won't take it upon themselves as a personal failure if they don't solve it for you. But you have these people in your lives, Leo. You have them. Otherwise, the advice wouldn't be to reach out to them and to connect with them. Connect is not necessarily reaching out as in I'm dying, but though it can be like that, and that's fine as well. But sometimes it's just really communicated from the heart that can just make it for a much deeper connection with whoever is in my life. When we're not just like, okay, I'm not gonna say this because it's gonna hurt you. Well, we're never gonna pierce some layers then. Listen, it's okay. We're learning this. Of course, we're gonna make mistakes. Of course, we've been like so hurt in the past that we got to this point of like, okay, it's not important, cut it off. We've done this to protect ourselves, right? But now you're getting better and better at this. You have the support. People are willing to listen. They care. And you know what? This is not gonna last forever. Never last forever. This is like a lot of like, it's a karmic thing that you need to solve here. It's something that you need to really learn how to communicate your needs in any relationships. Don't do things for others just to please them. It's like the relationships can start like that, and then when we stop doing that, when we're really trying harder to show up for ourselves and to be more like whole and more present, then we freak the shit out of other people because we weren't honest. We didn't show who we were. In a relationship, we need to put 100% on the table. That's how you know that the relationship is real. The connection is real. It doesn't mean that I need to act in a tantrum from that place, whatever place that is. It doesn't mean that I'm imposing my needs on somebody else. Doesn't even mean that I expect the other person to fulfill my needs. No. But it means that I recognize my own needs. It means that I am able to show up. I am able to try to communicate in order to connect deeper, in order to connect deeper with myself and honor myself. And learn more about myself in this space that I have or need. I don't know why it keeps coming that you need more space. This is what it feels for me right now, and it's probably because this is the Four of Cups here, which is a card of reflection and going within, and maybe going within a little bit too much sometimes. So that's why it's good to actually come out a bit and meet with the friends as well. But it's fine, it's fine to say when you need space, and it's fine to say when you can come out. Okay, I'm ready. I've been into this space for a while. I had the space that I needed. Thank you, my friends, for offering it to me. Now I'm ready to connect. And I know that you don't feel offended that I needed some space and I didn't want to cry on your shoulder. It's just because I couldn't. Does that make sense? You have this support, and it's fine. It's fine to respect your own wishes and your needs and communicate them. And then those that really love you will start to work on this. And they hopefully will communicate their own, to be honest with each other, to be fully present for each other, and not having to play certain roles all the time. That's a healthy relationship and exchange that's like away from codependency. You've got this. You've got so much support here. Is the Four of Wands has to do with really celebrating, and this is also a card of celebration. Celebrating your love life, your relationship, your friends, but from a place of a true connection. You can celebrate with real communications. Those that don't get it, well, they can go. It's fine. That means they weren't really friends, or you've had what was, you shared enough. You shared what you needed to learn from this cycle. And you can say thank you. Thank you so much. I learned so much. This is how far it goes. It's fine. I mean, you can say that within yourself. For me, it's very hard to let go of people, those that I really, really loved or really, really cared about. It's very, very difficult for me to literally say, okay, so we're done here. Now I move on, but within myself. It's fine. It's really okay. I think you do have the relationships that you need in your life. You just need to recognize them and look at the next level. And there's fear about this, of course. There's a lot of anxiety. This is coming, death is coming again. There's transformation. There's deep transformation. And transformation is never easy. It's death of a way of being. But it's good, it's fantastic, because it's a death of this anxiety, this part of you that's always like trying to figure out how can I do to please my partner, what can I do to not be the bad guy, to be the perfect hero of my story, to be the one who I want to be, how can I show up like that, like the perfect person. I'm not saying that you're people pleasing necessarily. It's not about this. We all are guilty in so many ways, accommodating other people's needs over our own. Because we don't know how to put those boundaries. But you're learning. You're learning right now, and you're learning to communicate your wishes, your needs. This is it. That's how you build real relationships. And yes, it's scary. Yes, there's a lot of anxiety. What if everybody leaves me? What if I stay alone? What if what if I'm being selfish here if I communicate my needs and desires? What if I just have to suffer the whole time in silence, for example? Sounds like the way to go. We don't understand that loneliness is much worse that we can feel when we are so alone and so lonely with friends and family and loved ones, because we don't know how to reach out to them or how to honor ourselves while we're around them, with them. That's much worse than literally being alone in so many ways. At least when you're alone, if you feel lonely, it makes sense. I don't know, I'm joking. It doesn't matter. It's not one necessarily worse than another. All that leads to loneliness and isolation is obviously not helping or detrimental. But the point is that this is the fear about your communication. This is what you're afraid of, that you're gonna lose some people, that you're gonna be rejected. But this is a transformation coming through, and yeah, that's damn scary. Transformations are always scary. Figuring out what part of me is still really me, and going through this death of certain patterns that used to show up again and again and again, that I thought they were mine, I thought they were me. It's so me to do this and that. It's so me to do this and that. And when we stop doing that, or those things don't seem to be so me, then we're losing the whole idea of what is me, and we hang on to that me that I thought I am. It's scary. It's not easy, but it's perfectly fine. You got this. This transformation takes you to the next level for you, in your spiritual plane, in your personal growth, in your growth as a soul. This is fantastic. You need this. You want this. And you do have support. Don't be so terrified that you're going to lose everybody. You're not going to lose everybody. You're going to build up closer to the ones that matter. But do keep in mind for skillful communication. It is true that this energy can be too rough at times. Learn how to communicate. Put effort into this. Nurture yourself. Stay grounded. Hold space for yourself, and but do it from a gentle place, not from a place of defensiveness or aggressiveness. That's the message here. And it's fantastic. You got this, Leo. I think you're really gonna feel loved, though. You'd be surprised how much love there is out there. and how much the things that we think that will hurt other people is just what we think that it actually hurts us. So making peace with that, that's lovely. Okay, Leo, happy birthday again, and thank you so much for joining me here. I hope this reading resonated with you. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you here next time.